the titanic, terrifying battle between the most terrifying monsters within our community come together for one giant clash. The following announcement has been paid for by Monsters with Attitude.
We are your podcast's favorite podcast, living off of one phrase, 3 words. Embrace the attitude.
You guys, y'all already know it's your boy Jordan, the Don Adorno. If you did not know, I am super stoked for this to be the final episode of this horrendous season of Monarch Legacy of Monsters season.
For God's sakes, grow up.
Sorry,
yes.
not
Get it
sorry.
together.
All right. Listen, we've been here talking about this season since day one, and oh my God. But nonetheless, last night's episode was pretty cool, and obviously we're going to be deep diving that here later tonight for this specific episode analysis being episode 10. So, before we continue on, I would just like to introduce my MWA brethren. Right over here, we have none other than the man who's married to these beloved kaiju. You know, the kaiju that are actually supposed to be in this season. Yeah. How you doing, Joe?
Man, I'm good. And as always, I'm glad you told me because I was one of the ones that did not know, but now I know. So now that I know, I am more enlightened and I'm happy to be informed. But I agree. You know, I feel like Dr. Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park, where he taps the street. There is supposed to be kaiju on your kaiju show, right? Hello? Excuse me? And this episode wasn't bad. The episode before it was all right. But yeah, overall, not a huge fan of this season. I thought it was a little bit of a letdown. So I'm excited to dissect it with my boys here at the MWA.
Right on, dude. Oh, man, it's going to be a hard night for the only 2 sole survivors who actually liked this show, starting off with the conductor of the Godzilla train, Adrian himself. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing all right. Here to prove to y'all again why this isn't a bad season. All this hate I've been hearing all season about talking crap about the entire season. It ends tonight. We're ending this tonight.
No, it's not. And then, next to Adrian.
Adrian, your dreams are about to be shattered like Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41.
And next to Adrian, once again, the second individual who tends to think that this season was actually pretty good, in that of the Stalapi Poppy, quoted by Joseph himself, Mr. Eric Stope. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It was a fun season, and I'm excited to talk about it. I won't go too much into it, but let's dissect it. Let's debate.
All right.
It's about time, Eric. It's about time.
I'm pretty sure I've well known my stance and my my side on why it's not. So I mean, I don't know how much more.
No, I'm happy that you finally said it's time to debate.
I just keep hearing the same thing over and over from you. So I mean, I haven't heard anything new. So
I haven't been on like 90% of these shows, so I don't know what you're talking about. You want to start already? you want to start already?
Huh? What? Huh? Okay.
No, it's all right. It's all right. We'll see. We'll see who has the last laugh when it's all over with. We'll see.
Oh yeah. That's all.
Listen, we're gonna get into all of that. Don't you worry. And last but certainly not least, another individual who we like to think has a working brain cell, who is also in agreement to know that this was a horrific season, and that of Samson West. How are you doing, my friend? Oh, wait.
See, still muted.
Okay.
Yeah, still can't hear you, Sammy.
Come on, dude. This was your redemption arc, man. You're supposed to back me and Joe up. This is embarrassing.
Looks like the playing fields are evenly matched 2-on-2. But can I just throw something in very, very quickly? Even though I think Eric and I are going to have a very spirited and lively debate, and probably a very adamant disagreement on our feelings of this season. MWA is pretty cool because even though we may vehemently disagree, we're not going to hate each other for it. We actually encourage different opinions, unlike other groups.
Absolutely.
Throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. Now, Samson, whenever you're ready to just give us a shout out so that we could confirm whether we hear you or not. Before so, we are going to acknowledge those that are chiming into the chat, starting off with Shingeki. My man was here earlier on before we even went live, and it shows right there based off of that comment.
Question is he still here? Oh,
well, that's a good question. Nathaniel, hi. I think I would enjoy Monarch season 2 more if all the episodes were released all at once, Netflix style. Oh, we did talk about that. Episodes 1, 8, 9, and 10 were good, but the rest was boring drama stuff. Opinions, dude. Trust me, we will speak on those opinions momentarily. Fantas of Cats. Wait. Oh boy, we'll definitely deep dive into topics like that. All right. Alex, what is going on, my brother? Love Monarch 10 out. I love the Monarch 10 out of 10 season 2. Okay. We got Frankie McFrank.
What's up, Frank? How are you, buddy?
Frank?
Look at that. We have a Samson West fan over here.
Kylo, what's up, man?
Hello.
We have Alex. We're going to definitely be chopping it up with this specific episode. Around in this world, listen. I am ready. I am freaking ready. Kristen, what is going on?
Hello there.
And Andrew.
Andrew, what up?
So that is the chat so far. Is each and every single one of you guys ready to deep dive into episode 10, Where We Belong, of season 2 of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters?
As ready as we can be.
Ready. Let's do it. Let's get these debates going.
All righty then. Let's jump right into it. So right here, of course, we're going to talk about the story and the overall themes pertaining to this specific episode. So the question I have for you guys is, what do you think this episode is ultimately saying about humanity's relationship with Titans, whether it be regarding the controlling aspect, the coexistence, or something else? I'm going to start this question off with you, Joe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was not paying attention. What was the question? And I can't.
The question goes, what do you think this episode is ultimately saying about humanity's relationship with Titans?
And the themes were control, coexistence, or something else.
Yeah, just any of the above.
I definitely don't feel like they were trying. I feel like there was two different camps. I don't feel like, Apex or was it Isabel's faction wanted coexistence per se. I think that the Shaws and Randas, they wanted more of a coexistence type atmosphere than anybody else. To me, I think I don't think it was executed very well, but I think that possibly their idea for this season was supposed to be humanity's constant attempts to change Mother Nature or world events, and it's failing in it. And like, what's the Blue Oyster Cult, the Godzilla? And history shows again and again, nature brings up the folly of men. Like, and men's a constant attempt to change, whether it's climate change or global warming, like whatever you want to call it. Like, we do all these things, but does it actually work? And it always seems to backfire in some type of way in our face and make things worse. And I think that's what they were going for this season with Kokai, and kind of learning to control, and these prototype weapons or devices where they tried to steer Kokai and control her. And we saw, about the halfway through of the season where that just didn't work. It made her go crazy and, kind of like schizophrenic or whatever, and ultimately ended up killing Hiroshi. So to me, I feel like that's what the theme they were going for. However, I do not feel like it was executed very well at all. I think there could have been a lot more to the story of the repercussions of that endeavor, if you will. So I think the story and the theme was probably control, again, executed very poorly.
Yeah, I'll definitely piggyback off of that from what you stated, Joe. But Eric, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. There was a lot of things, because there was like two different stories going on, and then you take the two stories and then they branch off to other stories. So there was a lot going on. You can't really narrow it down to one per se thing, I think, because everybody had their own motives. Everybody had their own things they wanted to do, right? It's just kind of, it's showing that man always wants to play God, and shows that they can't. And when they do, bad things happen. And it's just it's a fault of ours, where we always try to control everything, but there is no sense of control. There is no such thing as control when you're controlling these ginormous animals, these beasts that, have minds of their own, and there are ramifications to us doing that. So it's just kind of, it's just seeing it again and again and again, that we have to stop doing that, because there's no good when it comes of it, honestly. Or it becomes, it could become greed, where a company like Apex wants to control things, or they want to, do this to do this, and whatever, a lot of that stuff. And then you have the Monarch team, where they want to coexist and learn from these creatures and figure out, how they tick, why they're doing what they're doing, this and that. So there's a lot of stuff going on, honestly. It just depends on who you're actually wanting to talk about specifically. But yeah, I think it's just the fault of man, and we always think that we are the end-all be-all species, and time again we are proven wrong, and we pay for it, honestly. So,
all right, Adrian.
So kind of like you kind of said, we have so many different players trying to do different things in the story. So I'm gonna be a little bit more specific and kind of just go based off of what the show is based off of. Monarch, they start off still trying to make sure they can defeat the Titans and try to save humanity, things of that nature. But towards the end of the show, what we end up really getting was them working towards trying to coexist with the Titans, as we end up seeing later on in the MonsterVerse. So that's that's what the theme of the season was that growth and maturity of Monarch, like kind of like how we expected it to happen in the first place, and they're working towards getting to that coexistence with Titans.
All right, dude. Sammy.
Is my mic working?
Yes, it is.
All the time.
Okay. Well,
Unfortunately.
the computer, shut up. The computer didn't see that it didn't recognize it. What was the overall question? Because I bounced in as Joe was talking.
So the question is, what do you think this episode is ultimately saying about humanity's relationship with the Titans?
There's a lot of greed involved, thinking that we can have power over these giant creatures, just like everybody. I guess I'm going to sum up what everybody said. We're greedy and we want to be able to control everything. Since we're monkeys with big brains, we have all the power in the planet. That's what we're supposed to be. Nothing is supposed to be over us. So controlling Titan X to wipe out Kong so that they have full reign over Skull Island to do what they want. There was a lot of greed involved, especially with our chick from Prey, Isabella Simmons. So her character definitely unfolded in this last episode finally, and we got to understand her motives for what she wants to do, and she took control of Kentaro too, and is driving him to be the bad guy, and ultimately did. So I feel like greed is one of the biggest themes of this episode.
All right.
The egg too, like stealing the egg, controlling the Titan, all that stuff.
Man, not dude, spot on, man. I appreciate it. The next question I have pertaining to story and themes is, did the ending feel like closure or a setup for something bigger? What threads are still under resolved? I'm gonna ask you this question, Adrian, first.
Well, I mean, really kind of just open things up a lot more. For Monarch, of course, basically at least all group of I guess heroes. Now they're gonna go see. Hey, we need to go get Kataro still, and that's gonna be the main mission. I'm assuming going to the new season, trying to find out what he's trying to do and trying to stop what they're gonna do. As far as Shaw goes, I'm very curious about what he's doing because they kind of left that wide open with us having to reveal our thumbnail boy right there, which I'm sure we was all pretty excited about. But also left kind of with more questions than answers. Why is he here, and what is Shaw gonna do with him? So really, it's really open ended on what exactly we're gonna get next, if we're gonna get a third season or not.
I could tell you, based off of that ending, it looks like we're definitely going to be getting a season 3. Eric, I'm gonna jump into you and have you answer this question.
Again, it's a combination of several things. Honestly, there's closure and then there's new beginning. Honestly, you saw the closure with Keiko and young Shaw. Where that's literally before old Shaw came into the Axis Mundi and he told her, hey, it was him. Like that's the time that she remembered of him. And, it was just that closing of that chapter for her. We're saying goodbye to that young Shaw, the one that she essentially fell in love with, honestly, and just kind of closed that book. And then obviously it's a new beginning for Monarch because now they're being taken seriously and legitly and getting this new kind of upgrade and obviously making the members, the foundation is starting to build a little bit more again. And they're actually known as, this team that is going to go around and study and help people or these Titans in some way to help them or kind of get them out of people's ways or get them out of the people's ways, whatever, in some way, and just study them and do what they have to do to protect, humans and Titans alike, honestly. So yeah, there was a couple things kind of going on.
Samson.
I feel like this is a setup for the Shaw spinoff that keeps being talked about so much because his involvement with Rodan, and I've actually seen some theories online. I don't know if there's any definitive answer to this or not, that this isn't actually the one from 2019. It's a second Rodan, just like in the 56 film, because the one that came out of the what was the name of the volcano or the location that he came out of in 2019?
In Mexico.
Yeah, like he was dormant for a very, very, very long time. Isn't that what was told in the movie, that he was dormant for a very long time? So this one is not. But yeah, even Shaw's last words, he said, "I'll be seeing you later. I'll see you around, or I'll see you soon." What does that mean? Like, I don't know. So I feel like instead of a setup for season 3, this is a setup for the Shaw spinoff series, and we're going to see him and Rodan and what that leads up to with 2019 eventually.
He is literally going to be flying.
Frank. Oh, that's funny.
Joe.
Yeah, actually, Samson kind of stole my thunder a little bit. I think that this episode in particular is more of a setup for, especially the ending, is more of a setup for season 3 or the Shaw spinoff. I thought the Shaw spinoff because Shaw doesn't say anything. Nope, like there's nothing in this season whatsoever that should draw him to is this Thailand where this Rodan is?
Yes.
Technically, is this okay? So I thought so. I don't think it actually officially said that it was, unless I missed that. But so the Shaw spinoff is set in the Cold War. It seemed like Shaw knew where to go at the ending of this episode, and so to me, I'm like, he wasn't surprised to see Rodan or that there was a kaiju or something. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Rodan actually shows up in the Shaw spinoff that is coming, and it's more of a tease to that, because I thought it was weird that there was no like scene of some backdoor information throughout the season of Shaw getting information of where Rodan was, or some ulterior motive where he's hunting something down. It just all of a sudden the ending scene is him on this boat, and then he gets a guide to where we eventually see Rodan. So yeah, I definitely think that he's interacted with him before or heard stories of him before or something, and we could be seeing him in Shaw. But I did see actually an interview by Den of Geek where they interviewed the visual effects person on Monarch, and this is the same Rodan from King of the Monsters.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure how that works either, because I thought that Rodan was supposed to have been locked away. So, but maybe not, because they also say in King of the Monsters that Godzilla hasn't been seen in 5 years, and the events of this story clearly make it known that he was seen, just not by the general audience. So they were able to cover that up. Maybe there's something like that ties in. I'm not really sure, but yeah. As far as, are you asking if there's overall themes or plots that should have been resolved that weren't by this? I feel like
it all depends on how you view it. You can go right ahead and speak on your opinion on that.
I just feel like there's, and maybe they did touch on this, and this is something that like I missed. I've only seen the season or all the episodes once, so I would like to go back and watch them again to see if my opinion changes and if I pick up on things that I missed the first time. But I don't. Did we ever actually figure out why Kate has that connection to Kokai? Like why specifically her? Like what happened to the scarabs? You know, this could like if Kokai Titan X does the migratory route every 15 years, I think it was stated. Does she lay an egg every 15 years? Like, you know, is there other babies? Like, what's going on with that? You know, to me, there was a lot of lore left on the table that they probably should have explored and deep dive, especially if Titan X will not return anymore. I think that there was a lot more they should have done. There was a lot more questions that I had. But yeah, that's it for now.
Before I lose my train of thought, I just thought of something when you were talking about Shaw maybe seeing him in the past. Maybe the line "I'll see you soon" is him knowing that in his past self, the events of the past, how soon he's going to see Rodan coming out of Axis Mundi. And the journey from he's like remembering to the past. He's like, "Hey, I'll see you soon," meaning like, "Oh, my past self is about to see you pretty soon," knowing the events of history. So that just came to my mind too when you said that like the spinoff series is supposed to take place during the Cold War. So that's where my head just went when you said that.
Alex brought this up. Excuse me. The scarabs fertilize the eggs like some animals do, and then they disappear. I think the connection is based on how, as humans, can have special connections with animals, just overall in general.
That's fascinating, Alex. Thank you for sharing that. I wasn't aware of that. And that very well might be. Like, to me though, I think that probably should have had a line or two in the show to explain that. You know, that's to me, I feel like that's a failure of some dialogue in the show.
Yeah, for sure. Well, absolutely loved each and every single one of you guys' response pertaining to those questions. Now let's jump into the next topic, specifically talking about the overall character focus. The question I have pertaining to this topic is, which character had the most meaningful evolution in this specific episode, and did it feel earned? I'm gonna start this one off with you, Sammy.
Damn it, no, because I'm not good with character crap. I don't know. I guess Kate with her her involvement with Titan X, and then being able to let her brother go even though she feels like what he's doing isn't okay, and she has some conclusion. And then even at the end of the episode, her having the whole X-Files basement, her being part of Monarch now, like she's actually a key role with the new Monarch office that they have set up in the basement, like in the X-Files. So she's come from being the woe is me, everything's my fault, to being a bigger role in Monarch overall.
Okay. Joe.
I don't know. You know, I'm going to push back on Samson a little bit, because I don't think that we can say that, oh, she's matured past the oh, woe was me. I think that's what they're setting her up, and I hope so, because that really made her very unlikable to me this whole season. So I hope that that's the case. I don't know. I don't really. No character really. And this is one of my big problems with this season. If I'm being honest, like a lot of the characters severely just were nails on a chalkboard to me. Especially the young group. The young group are like horrible. And it became even more obvious to me just in that last 5 or 10 minutes, seeing Kurt Russell's character on that boat and him just going to some village. I was more excited about what he was going to do, who he was going to interact with in that village. If it was somebody from the past, if it was a story from the past that he was reliving, what was going to happen, where he was going, why he was there, every single thing about that and it's just him. Who's that guy? Who's that Taiwanese guy he's talking to? Who's the mafia guy? Like, all of it. That last 10 minutes did more to grip me than this entire show did, all, 8 hours worth of it. So to me, this Monarch has a serious character problem. Kate, May, and Kentaro are just not very likable to me. They're very whiny. They're very, just unappealing. So I don't really have a good answer because I don't really think there's been a character that's had a strong growth in this. I will say that Kentaro was one that I didn't like, that I'm beginning to be lukewarm on. I won't say that I like him, but I do like the fact that he's more like, no, screw you, Kate, screw you, Cora. Like I'm doing this because this is what I think. Just because you think something's right doesn't mean that we all have to do it. Like, I know, you think you're, everything you say is gospel and we can try it and everything you say is right and I'm just the stupid guy in the corner, but like, no, I don't care. I'm doing this because I'm trying something. I don't care if you don't like it. I'm trying it. And I like that. I'm like, cool. Finally, somebody told them to shut up. So
Well, fair enough. Eric.
And he's muted.
You're muted, buddy. Eric, you're muted, buddy.
Sorry. The only one that kind of comes to mind for me would probably be Shaw. The simple fact of him explaining to Keiko that he talked to his younger self, so she found out that he was down there in Axis Mundi at the same time she was, and he didn't save her. And Keiko thought like he was the worst person for that, and she lost all those years and stuff like that. But then he's like, what would you have done? Like she's a woman of science. She's a woman of thought and everything, and making sure that you're not supposed to do these kind of things. Like, kind of put her in her place. Like, I understand that's bad, but like, what would you have done if you were in my shoes? You would have done the same thing, because if you would have done something different, it would have changed time itself. And that was, I don't know, that was a very strong moment. Honestly, it came and went too fast, honestly, because it upset Keiko like tremendously, which rightfully so. It should have. Like, she lost 50 years of her life, or something like that. I think it's 50 years or something. She lost a lot of time being in Axis Mundi. Yeah. But like, I felt like it was a very strong moment, and then kind of went away, kind of thing. I was like, you had lightning in a bottle and you kind of let it go, kind of thing. But like, that moment I thought was very strong for Shaw, just kind of letting her kind of have it. Like, I'm sorry, like, I saw you, I loved you, and I do love you, but like, I can't mess up time, and you would have done the same thing, being the voice of reason for once, I guess, for Shaw, because he's the one that kind of likes to go out and just randomly go and do things, and she's the one that's always trying to talk him out of it. Now it was kind of roles reversed a little bit, so I did like that moment, and I thought that was a very strong moment in the episode. So I think overall, that plus Shaw, seeing his younger self in that portal, and just kind of explaining to Keiko, what he was saying, what it kind of meant, and just a very strong moment, honestly, that kind of, I think, at least I felt and everything. But for anybody, I would say Shaw was the biggest one. I think had the biggest moment, I would say, in this episode.
Okay. Adrian.
I'm actually agree with it. I'm going to say Saw also, but for a little bit of a different reason. And the reason why is because before that, just the episode before, a couple episodes before this, Saw was still trying to figure out a harmful way to get rid of Titan X to try and get her to try and get rid of her. But by the end of this episode, he was really he was fully on board on trying to make sure she was safe to get her home, as well as even try to get her egg back. So that kind of switch in his character and Shaw's character really is what really stood out for me, honestly. Just him completely changing his motives and everything to make sure that, hey, at one point Titans are the problem versus, oh, you know what? Maybe we're the problem for not helping these Titans. And that was kind of a shift I didn't really see coming to the last episode or two, probably.
Okay. The second question I have pertaining to the overall character focus is, were there any character decisions that felt surprising or out of place? I'm gonna start with you, Eric.
What was the question? Sorry.
Oh boy, put you in the spot there, buddy, huh? Oh my God, why am I sweating? The question is, were there any character decisions that felt surprising and or out of place?
Character decisions. No. Everything was tracking on where it should have been. Kentaro made his decision. He went with it. Good. Don't waver. Kate was bound and determined to save Kentaro. Didn't work. Isabel wanted what she wanted, still doing that, so there was to me, there was nothing that stood out. I was like, oh, that was kind of a weird move by them. Everybody was on the right path and the path that was literally written for them. And they really didn't deviate from that at all, honestly. So yeah, I'm going to say none.
All right. Samson.
Just no. Sorry, excuse me. Just no. Nothing. No, nobody really changed. Everybody. It ended the way that it. As Eric said, the direction they were going. That's how it ended for all of them. No, nobody ever had a oh my God, I can't believe they did that moment. It didn't happen.
Joe.
Yeah, same. Nothing sticks out. I won't say it was out of character, but it was a little shocking to see that younger Shaw did see Keiko in Axis Mundi, and that older Shaw was able to convince younger Shaw. All of that was very surprising, but I don't know if it was out of character, because I still think that Shaw was able to love Keiko so much that where he made the ultimate decision to leave her behind. So I don't know if that was out of character. It was a little shocking to see that he would leave her behind, but overall it's understood.
Adrian.
No, nothing. Same. No, nothing really shocking or nothing that really threw me for a loop for anyone's decision making.
Well, I guess that wraps things up for the character focus.
Oh, thank God.
So now we're going to dive into a category that I feel like we're definitely going to be deep diving a little bit more out of every other question I have for the show, and that is just the overall MonsterVerse. This is specifically pertaining to that of the world building around such verse, and the question I have to start this off is, how does this episode expand the larger MonsterVerse mythology? I'm gonna start this question off with you, Adrian.
I mean, honestly, I don't think it really expands too much on it, honestly, because we haven't really touched on the MonsterVerse too much. I mean, besides Rodan showing up and showing Kong's, was, I guess, calms humanity in the sense where he realized what was going on with Titan X, and that's why he stopped attacking her. And it's seeing that intelligence and calm that we end up seeing later on in the MonsterVerse. But I mean, besides that, I mean, I guess maybe Monarch. Well, yeah, I can't really think of anything specific that really led towards the MonsterVerse lore with the season ending the way it did.
Eric.
They kind of kept away from connecting, a lot of the movies, but obviously besides our debut here at the very end, obviously Bill Randa was obviously a big character, but the only thing I can really think of is just the culmination and kind of the backstory for the building blocks were for Monarch, honestly, and kind of what they went through, what it took to get where they were, and kind of where they're going to go from here. Honestly, we know that they're basically formed with those four, before 2019. So for 2 years now, they're going to be doing all this stuff, working with the government, hunting down these Titans, and studying them or capturing them or encasing them, whatever. That's kind of the biggest thing I think, obviously, we could take from this show is just the kind of the building blocks of Monarch, and just kind of some of the things that happened in the past that got us to where we are today or going to be. And it's just kind of the journey on the road to present time, honestly. So other than that, it didn't really expand a ton. Showed a few new Titans here or there, little ones that were kind of like on Skull Island and whatnot. But the overall lore to it didn't do too much because it was kind of separate from the actual movies, besides a couple of things tying it in. So.
Joe.
Yeah, I don't think it did. I don't think it did any of that, and that's why I didn't like this season. I don't think it expanded the world of Monarch. I don't think it put any pieces in place of how it was formed or anything of that nature. I think it absolutely did in the first season, but not in this season at all. Besides some little throwaway lines or back plot of an episode of where Billy's mapping Kokai's migratory routes, I don't think it does anything for world building. I mean, we didn't see him do it. We didn't see him explore. We didn't see any of the mythos expand whatsoever. I mean, the last 10 minutes excluded, which in my opinion saved this season. But yeah, that is my number one frustration. This is supposed to be. I understand that there was a lot of complaints about the lack of Godzilla. I was right there, and I'm right there with you guys. But this it didn't show. It didn't expand anything, past, present, or future for Monarch at all, in my opinion.
I'll definitely have to segue into what you just stated, Joe. Has been a complaint that I've made for as long as I've been a part of these episode analysis videos. It's just feel like it's just been like a rinse, cycle, repeat type of thing. And I understand that, maybe for some, such as like Eric and Adrian, they look at it from a different perspective, directing it to that of the human casts, and this was going to be more focused, and I get that. But the human actors or just their overall characters of what they're trying to perceive in the show doesn't draw enough attention to the diehard fans and what the overall premise of what the show should have been to begin with. It's not good enough for me to be like, I'm gonna recommend this entire series to anyone that will chime into anything Godzilla or just kaiju related. Just it didn't hit that for me.
I agree. It had some cool Easter, like Pulgasari's name drop in the first episode, the Skeleturtle on Skull Island, obviously Rodan showing up at the very end here, like all that stuff was like really cool. But those Pulgasari was mentioned for 10 seconds and then never again. Skeleturtle, you saw it in the mist, and Rodan shows up at the very end, which is a teaser for either Shaw or season 3. Like I don't I don't know what your questions are. If we're gonna get deeper into this later, I'll wait. But if not, like I'm legitimately curious to hear from Adrian and Eric on how you guys think this expanded the foundations of Monarch, past, present, or future, or the mythos of the MonsterVerse, past, present, or future.
So we will definitely. There are some hot takes and debates that I do have towards the end. That definitely touch base on that because I'm pretty sure it's also safe to say the majority of the chat also wants to see us going at it, talking about this specific season.
The calm before the storm.
Yeah, literally. But I did not forget about you, Sammy Whammy. So go right ahead, buddy.
All right.
All right.
He's like, I'm out.
Oh man, he's not making us look good, Joe.
He never does.
Oh, poor Sammy. We still love him though. Well, we'll I guess move on to the next question. God damn it, Samson. Did we learn anything?
I love him and all of his extra chromosomes.
Did we learn anything that could potentially lead to a better season with the return of Rodan? I'm gonna start this question off with you, Eric.
Did we learn anything better with Rodan?
No. Did we learn anything that could potentially come out to be something that was great with a potential season 3 introducing or just overall the return of Rodan?
So you're asking if the next season can be better with Rodan, essentially.
Well, yeah. Do you think are there going to? How do I say it? I have a few examples. Do you think that there's going to be certain topics that they're going to touch base on now that they're including Rodan to this that we've seen in previous MonsterVerse films or something like that? I don't know. Just what are your overall thoughts?
Okay. Well, obviously we're gonna find out how he gets in the volcano, because obviously when 2019 comes around, he's locked away in a volcano. So obviously we're gonna find that out, probably because obviously he starts in a different country than where he ends up, and he's a captive. So that's obviously gonna be different. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna see out of Rodan because we didn't get a lot of screen time, a lot of talk about Rodan in 2019. Obviously his scenes in that movie were fantastic and probably some of the best out of the whole movie, and then that was it. So I don't know. I am honestly open to anything and everything that can connect this and what's going on to 2019. So I'm just gonna leave the book open and not really expect anything. Just kind of sit back and just kind of see what they give us, honestly, because I don't know what they could do, honestly. But the only thing I could say is maybe we actually get a fight with Godzilla and Rodan that we didn't get in 2019. Maybe we're actually going to get that. So we'll see.
Me and Alex were talking about that this morning, ironically enough. Mm-hmm. Adrian.
Kind of the same. with the end of season one. I'm not gonna go into. I'm not. I don't have. I ain't gonna. I don't even have any type of expectations for season three, even with the end of this season. Having Rodan is definitely cool. I just don't know. I am curious of what they're gonna do with him, but I don't have any like, oh, they're gonna do X, Y, and Z with Rodan. Like, I'm not thinking that far ahead. It's more of whatever happens at this point, and hopefully, it'll live up to y'all standards. Y'all hated this season so much, but we'll have to wait and see.
I'm still waiting for you to give me one reason why you liked it.
I'm sure we'll get into that.
Okay.
Oh man, we at least I'd hope we would.
What was the overall question? My mom came in here and talked to me, and I had to step away for a second.
All right.
How Rodan's involvement in the next is
Yeah.
What do you think? What are your expectations season 3 with now that Rodan has finally made his overlong return to the Monsterverse?
Depending on if it's the Shaw spinoff or season 3 that Rodan's going to play a bigger role in, seeing as how his character was killed off between 2019 and versus Kong, and he's such a fan favorite.
Killed. That he is not dead. It says defeated. It does not say deceased.
Okay, either way. The fact that we don't see him, or we haven't seen him since, and he was such a fan favorite and had some of the coolest scenes in all of King of the Monsters. To get some more backstory behind him, that's promising. More of this Rodan is good Rodan. I thought he was probably my favorite. His sequences were probably some of my favorites in the King of the Monsters movies. So, to get more of a backstory of Eric said it, how he winds up locked away in the volcano, how they're able to get him from point A to point B, and just his journey and his involvement. And as y'all stated, holy crap, an actual proper Rodan versus Godzilla fight. We haven't seen that since 1964.
93.
No.
And then 2004.
93. Stop it, Samson.
Yeah, I said a good
2004. Fight. And then 2004.
Yeah, I said a good fight.
Oh.
Joe.
Rodan's involvement makes me cautiously optimistic. Listen, I got my hopes way up for season 2, and they marketed season 2 in a way that it was not executed. So I was severely disappointed with season 2. Mm-hmm. So I will just say I am cautiously optimistic, and I will also throw this tidbit in there that the last 10 minutes of season 2 saved me from abandoning season 3 and just waiting until season 3 was over. I will, if season 3 is in, if Rodan is in season 3, I will definitely be watching week to week.
Yeah, nah, dude. Unfortunately, I have to agree. I said it in the last few episode analysis videos that I was hoping that they did not push forward to season 3, although it would have been more than likely that they're going to do that. But yeah, seeing Rodan, I was just in complete shock. And somebody mentioned it earlier, especially with the little to no acknowledgement of just his overall existence. So to see Rodan make a comeback, I think that he was definitely stole the show in King of the Monsters. Eric stated that his scenes, I think we all can all state this, that those scenes that Rodan had involved himself in 2019's King of the Monsters were absolutely epic. We've never seen Rodan showcase any type of feat of what he had brought to the table. So I am extremely curious. Unfortunately, I'm curious to see what he brings into season 3.
I will say, if season 3, if they don't pick up after the first 3 episodes, I am going to stop and just wait for it all to come out. If it starts dragging by episode 3, I'm going to stop.
No, you're not doing that.
That's what this season did. So
I thought you're not doing that. You're not going to stop watching.
Watch me.
Just watch me whip. Watch me name. All right. Next. Oh man, hashtag cringe. Oh man.
Hey, this white man's got moves.
Listen, I'm the guy that gets invited to the block party, so yeah, I guess I lost my invite just now, but it's okay.
Jesus.
Next topic. Let's talk about the big moments that occurred in this specific episode.
We just did. It's Rodan.
Yep.
All the rest.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that answers one question. Yeah. Rodizzle for shizzle. All right. Hashtag cringe moment number 2. But it's okay. It's okay. All right. So I guess another question I have, and it will be the last question pertaining to this topic. Do the action and spectacle enhance the story or overshadow it? I'm gonna throw this one at you first, Joe.
What action? Overshadow what? The cheating love affairs, or what action? Would there have to? Is there kaiju in your kaiju show? Excuse me. Hello. Yeah. No. What
I really
action?
hate this man.
No, I don't think it overshadowed. Well, you know what? Actually, I will take that back. Yes, I do, because I think that the big moment of this season by far, and the thing that everyone's talking about, is Rodan's reveal. And I do think that Rodan. You want to know how I know you had a crappy season? Everyone's talking about this.
This is
No one's talking about the Godzilla Kokai fight. No one's talking about the Godzilla Kong fight or the Kong Kokai fight. No. No one's talking about anything else. No, everyone's talking about Rodan. So, yeah, the big moment that overshadowed your entire show was your ending.
Yep. Eric.
So we're talking about like just big moments in general here, or
just
like,
in this specific episode.
Like what was my big moments?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
We good. The Kong and Titan X fight was a good fight. It was interesting to see Kong fight like a tentacle, I guess, monster again. And let's be honest, like I heard somebody talk about this, is that, you know, Kong is supposed to be an alpha. Okay. And Kokai is not. And Kokai gave Kong a run for his money. Like, he had him on the ropes. Like, he had him pinned up, and like she was like, You're going down, son. And all of a sudden she noticed the egg, and then she kind of skedaddled, you know, and left him alone. Like, okay, maybe she was on steroids a little bit, but like he's supposed to be an alpha. Like, he's supposed to be one of the big dogs, you know, with Godzilla. So that was kind of surprising, because at first I thought Kong was kind of throwing those hands at her and she wasn't really doing anything, and then all of a sudden she just kind of came back and just kind of did some damage, did some cool moves that I thought was interesting. You know, got more action than we did against Godzilla and Titan X, but that's completely different because I think that is way different in power and size comparison for that fight, because Godzilla would have just mopped her with the floor if they actually would have let that fight happen. And he basically was. But I think that's why it was so quick, so short, because they had to make it look like she wasn't going to be defeated so easily. Mm-hmm. And so just kind of had to skedaddle, you know. So, I mean, that fight, the Kong fight and Titan X fight, that was really cool. That was fun to watch. And then, yeah, obviously Rodan, just because he's one of the big five. You know, he has name recognition. He has been with this series for, what, 60 years or
this
so?
Year, yeah.
Now?
Yeah, this year.
Yeah, 60 years. So, like, he has been around
70.
the block.
70, yeah.
70?
Wait, yeah, got
70.
70.
Yeah, 70. Okay, even
Yeah,
more.
70.
So, like,
Jesus.
he's been around. Everybody knows who Rodan is. You know, he's had his moments. So, of course, everybody is super hyped for seeing Rodan, because it's a Toho monster. Like, that's what a lot of us have been wanting, you know, ever since 2019. where we wanted Toho monster to come back and we haven't got it even in the blockbuster movies, and it was nice to see that. And now, we're going to get connection with that, get a little more backstory with him. That's great. If we get season 3 of just Rodan and them, keeping a lid on him or whatever, following him around and all this stuff, that's cool. I think that'd be really cool. That'd be fun. So, I mean, obviously those were the big moments, for this particular episode, obviously. So,
Adrian.
So, judging from what everybody else is saying, the big moments in this episode definitely enhanced the story quite a bit. Because I mean, obviously, this is probably the most talked about episode since probably episode 1, honestly. Because of course, the Kong and Titan X fight, was surprisingly no one's really talking about too much. It really was a really good fight, and Kong was getting the business. And I know Jordan loved that because joke too, actually, because yeah, King Kong was getting that work. And
Who's
then
King Kong? He's only addressed as Kong here at MWA. I'll make that loud and clear. Yeah.
Big baby. Anyways, but of course, the thing that really, I guess, kind of shook the kaiju community is the return of Rodan, because that is something that we've been waiting for since 2019 after his incredible performance in that movie. So I would definitely say the big moments in this episode definitely enhanced the story quite a bit. And apparently the season too, because a lot of people kind of changed their tune a little bit on the season. Probably not love it overall, but they can definitely say that they really enjoyed this episode.
Okay. Samson.
2 big moments that come to mind is what everybody's saying, Rodan for sure. So I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. But then also what dropped my jaw for a minute when I saw the shadow in the Axis Mundi beams, I was like, is somebody coming out? Like, who's that? And then at first I was like, is Billy coming out of it and he's actually going to be alive again? But no, but getting to see the young Shaw and just that little moment that was shared there, that was kind of important and big. Not as big as Rodan's reveal because everybody's talking about that, but that was important for that closure there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I guess moving on to the next topic, and that is future speculation. So I guess the question I have for you guys now is, what are your predictions for where the story goes next? Again, I'm gonna start this question off with you, Joe.
As disappointed as I was with this season, I did really enjoy season 1. So I hope that this series as a whole does continue, and I hope that the MonsterVerse TV shows continue. I'm still excited for the Shaw spinoff. I think that the Russells are the strongest characters of this TV world. So I'm excited for that. I think that'd be way more interesting than having Kate, May, and Kentaro. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They are like nails on a chalkboard. And so yeah, I'm excited for the Cold War setting. That'll be interesting. Rodan's appearance definitely brought my excitement from pretty much a 0 back up to a 10. As far as what we can get with monsters, I hope that Rodan does play a larger role in these series going forward, but also it's nice to know that maybe we could also see, if Rodan's back, maybe we'll see other Titans return. I would love to see more of the even some of the Titans that we've already kind of seen a little bit, like Skullcrawlers, Mutos. I wouldn't mind seeing the return of the Mutos. I wouldn't mind seeing the return of the Skullcrawlers. I know the Skullcrawlers were a huge part of Kong Skull Island. They had one of them had a nice little cameo in Godzilla vs. Kong, but I'd love to see them back, even just for an episode or something, to be the villain of the episode or villain of the week type of thing. Also, Rodan's appearance opens the door. Maybe we see Ghidorah. Maybe there's we see a different aspect of what the events of King of the Monsters, or a situation that transpired during the events of that film that we didn't see during that film. And maybe Mothra shows up, maybe another Toho kaiju shows up. That'd be great. Behemoth, all the other original works from Legendary. So yeah, that's really exciting. That's really cool. Because at the end of the day, I mean, that's why we are all sitting down and watching this show, or interested in it, is because of our love for Godzilla and kaiju. So the more kaiju, the better. And I would hope that they take a big lesson from the complaints that people have had this season, that was a severe lack of monster. Showing a monster for 10 seconds running through a courtyard of an Apex building, or the Stampede Caterpillar rolling around on Skull Island for 10 seconds, or a 30-second Godzilla appearance that was a dream sequence followed by another 30-second appearance that, and then he's swimming. The human element of this needs to be strong, but I don't think people are looking at these characters of love triangles or girl boss or family drama as appealing, and I'm one of them. I don't. It didn't do anything for me. I want the world building of Monarch and the Monsterverse. I want the lore of the Titans. I want these. Keiko made a point to tell everybody that she met in the first season, or even in parts of this season, I'm a doctor. I'm not. Don't call me Miss Randa. I'm Dr. Randa. Okay, well, go do doctor stuff, because that's what I'm interested in. I don't care who you slept with, and I don't care who you're married to. The dynamics are cool, but I'm in it for the science lore. I'm in it for the kaiju lore, the Monsterverse lore. I'm not in it for the love triangle. And while I think that love story can be interesting if it is a garnish on the dish, not the meat and potatoes that you're ordering. And I think that was the big flaw this season. They made the garnish the meat and potatoes, and the meat and potatoes the garnish. They had it mixed up. And so I would like to see them actually go back to being archaeologists and explorers and scientists and military people, and delve more into that world and the politics. And I don't mean the politics as elected officials. I mean the politics of, inner battles and inner workings of corporations and the world during that time, in setting up this organization. That is what we were promised, and that is what I am hoping. So yeah, not really sure what else to say without getting into a whole long tirade. So I'll leave it at that.
No, I appreciate it, buddy. Samson.
Sorry, stepped away again. What was the overall question?
Just what are your predictions for where the story goes next?
I guess just a kind of a Rodan origin story, as I said before, and hopefully a little bit more development with Monarch, and maybe more of a backstory about Apex. Apex, we all predicted, like, oh my God, we're gonna get some cool reveals about Apex in this season and their involvement in the Monsterverse. They just gave up on that. They totally gave up on anything Apex, and it was all about Isabella Simmons trying to figure out how to control Titan X. They just kind of disregarded the Apex side of thing, which was kind of a weird. We need new writers. That's what my future speculation is. New writers. So, yeah, that's about it. I don't really have any deep thoughts about that because, again, disappointed in the season. So, not really like, woohoo! I can't wait to see what happens next.
No problem, man. I'm on the same boat. Adrian.
Not the same that Samson said as far as what we're gonna get with Rodan. Probably a little bit more of a backstory and origin story. And I was with seemingly everything with Shaw and Keiko being closed. I think we all get a little bit more world building in season 3. Because of course that's definitely the storytelling because again, I don't know, I definitely still enjoyed the season with everything that was going on, despite what most of y'all say, but being able to see a little bit more world building in the martial would be cool to see in this new season. But as I kind of said earlier, I don't have huge expectations. I'm kind of keeping my expectations low so I can enjoy the show for what it ends up being at the end of the day.
Right on. Eric.
Samson kind of took my one is I've said it before on those shows that the Apex portion is I'm really heavy on. Like I wanted to see more on Apex. I wanted to see them be the bad guys. I wanted to hate them. I wanted to see why they were so bad. Yet we got a little grain of salt of them trying to one time try and control Titan X. That was it. And then they were just they were gone because May's sister got arrested and then basically was turning on Albert Simmons and the whole Apex company and everything and whatever. That was really about it. So I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to see them be kind of the big bad, possibly the company that Apex was kind of having to deal with all the time. If they're messing up their plans or getting in the way and this and that, like again, just a little tip of it, and that was about it. So I would really like to see more of that. But other than that, I just kind of sit back and just watch. I don't have a lot of expectations or speculations, honestly. I'm just going to watch what they give me, honestly, and going to keep my expectations low, like I am with the new, -0 and Supernova. I don't want to get, the hype train way up here, and I'm disappointed. I don't want that. I don't want to go into a movie or a TV show or whatever of Godzilla and have this hype and then be like, oh, this is disappointing, because I should just really just appreciate what they're giving me, because we're in this crazy time of Godzilla and we're getting media here and there and everywhere, and I'm trying to love all of it for what it is and appreciate it, like I said. So I'm not going to do any speculation. I don't really have anything. It's just it'll be interesting what they do with the next season, if they do a next season with Rodan, and just kind of keep it at that.
All right. Well, before we wrap things up, I do have one more topic to bring up, and that is what everyone is here for. And that is just to get your overall final thoughts, debating on whether, if not this season, was actually good enough in a sense. And I think it's safe to say that between me, Joe, Sam, and majority of everyone else in the chat, that this season absolutely sucked. But the question I have for you guys, and this question pertains more so specifically to Eric and Adrian, since you two are the only two that have been praising this season. Is this the strongest episode of the season, or did another episode do it better? I'm going to start this one off with Adrian.
Kind of mentioned it earlier when I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier that this probably was the best episode out of the whole season. Because we did get the Kong and Titan next fight. We kind of got the book closed on the chapter between Shaw and Keiko. Quite a few things happened. Katara left and went to do his own thing, and I guess the continued division of Monarch, where they're trying to defend and protect the Titans. So we had a lot going on in this episode that really put a lot of things together and kind of, like I said earlier, open the door wide open for the new season and what's to come next. So I do believe this was the best season so far, the best episode in the season so far.
Okay, Eric.
I disagree. I think it was the episode where Shaw talked to his younger self. That was the most powerful episode, I think, and the best one, honestly. Like we talked about it. I think I was actually on that show. We were talking about it, and by far that was my favorite. It had so much impact, so much strength behind it, and what it was portraying and how it was portrayed. It was just it was strong, and I didn't need the kaiju action in that one. Like the story told it all, the emotion told it all. Like that was so powerful and moving, honestly, that like kind of makes you realize, could you do the same thing? Could you put yourself in Shaw's shoes and actually let the person that you love the most go and let them, you know, be in this place for so long and go through hell? But you know, they come out of it, but they still have to go through hell. And I thought that was just super, just on a different world of thinking, I guess, and just kind of putting yourself in someone else's shoes. I thought that was just the best one overall. It was just like, whoa, like that was super intense. So I'm gonna have to go with that episode, honestly.
Okay, that's different. Now, before I ask Joe and Santon the exact same question, do you think that, with specifically pertaining to what had happened between episodes 8 through 10, if majority of the season was like that, would have changed your opinion of the season? And I'm gonna ask you that specifically, Eric. Or no, take it away. Would this season been a lot better for you personally if what had happened during the events of episodes 8 through 10 was basically spread out throughout the entire season?
To me,
yes.
No, because I like the whole thing.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person that question.
Yeah, I was like, why are you asking me that? Like, I've already told you, I like the whole thing.
I'm sorry.
I thought you were talking.
Just no way. There's just no way. For here on out, I'm going to quote you as the bearded human plot. That's what I'm going to call you. No more the bearded kaiju. You're just going to be the bearded human plot from here on out.
I don't see the problem with a good human plot. I'm just saying.
But there was
not
a
good
plot.
But it wasn't good. Let me
there wasn't.
Let me know when it gets good.
That's your own opinions. That it was.
That's the majority's opinions. That is the majority feedback of season 2.
So what? If everybody says go jump off a bridge, just because it's majority, you're gonna go do it? Okay, be my guest. Be my guest.
Okay, thanks, Dad.
Later.
Yeah, that was a weak ass argument. Oh, the majority. Way to go, Jordan.
But it was true, was it not? Was it not true?
Dude,
it was.
Was what true? What was what?
What
true?
I just said.
About
I'm agreeing with you, Eric.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were arguing. I was like, what are you talking about?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I don't think the human element was good. I want to ask you the same question I asked before, Eric and Adrian. What about this season expanded the lore of Monarch, of the Monsterverse, of Kong, of Godzilla? Not to step on your toes, Jordan. I know you're hosting.
No problem. Problem.
What happened in this show for 10 episodes that expanded our worldview? Adrian, I would like to ask you first.
So I mentioned this earlier. Also, when we talked about the MonsterVerse topic, there wasn't we didn't get anything that really expanded the world of the MonsterVerse. So you're right about that. You're right about that. But the storytelling that we did get wasn't absolutely horrible either. We've seen 1,000 Godzilla movies that had horrible human storylines in it, and this show, the human story in this show wasn't on tier of some of the worst human stories in Godzilla movies that we've gotten before.
Okay, you're right. We have seen some Godzilla movies with some absolute horrible human interaction. You know what else we got in that horrible human interaction to tide us over? Monster action. Kaiju fights. Tokusatsu. The reason we are a fan of this stuff. Where was that in this season? If that's your argument, where was that this season? Where was the sprinkling of the fairy dust? Oh, yeah, coming for that ass, Hogan. Where was that sprinkling of the fairy dust throughout the show that tided you over?
Honestly, I had enough for it to tide me over, to be honest. Because I mean, again, I was able to watch each episode, and I wasn't upset about watching each episode. Honestly, like besides like everybody else was dreading the next episode of Monarch. And even though we didn't get a whole lot of kaiju action, again, for me, the human's plot did enough for me. I was able to watch it for that. Just like other Godzilla movies that have great human stories and not a whole lot of kaiju action. Not saying that this human story is on the par of like Godzilla versus Sea Monster. Not saying that, but it was big well enough for me to still stay engaged with it.
So, what human story specifically? Because I'll ask again, what part of the human story expanded the world of Monarch, the Monsterverse, or the histories of the Titans? You don't have to have the Titans on screen, but what part of the human drama expanded the world of the Monsterverse?
If
For the human drama, for the human drama that we did get, nothing expanded on the Monsterverse.
Eric, he's your teammate. You want to bail him out? No, because you guys have said that it was a good show, and guess what? I'm not, and I've said this.
So
to you guys
you're arguing you're arguing opinions right now, because if we like something different than you're arguing and trying to tell me that I'm not right for believing in me liking that. Okay.
Those words haven't come out.
No,
they have not. I asked a question.
You are just saying yes, and I'm answering
I asked
your
a question. I asked a question.
Yes,
I
I'm
didn't
answering
state
the
anything
question.
yet.
I'm answering the question. If I believe that the human aspect was good, then it's a good show for me. I don't have to explain myself to you because it's what I like.
But what you said, well, I mean, that's literally the whole point of us having a show here, Eric, is to explain our opinions. So yeah, I mean, like,
yes, absolutely,
First
absolutely.
off,
but you don't need to believe in it either, though. I don't need to change your opinion. I'm
asking for my opinion to be changed. I'm literally asking, what did I miss? Because you have said to us that this show wasn't so, and I'm quoting you, that this show was not supposed to be about kaiju, kickboxing, action, whatever. That this was supposed to be the world building of Monarch the character.
I didn't say world building. Never said that. Never said that.
Okay.
I never said world building. I didn't say it's going to be about the monster.
The foundations, the building of Monarch and how it came to be. Okay, we're saying the same thing in just two different ways. How did this season expand on that? What happened in this season that created something or expanded Monarch as an organization?
What it did as a show is that it just showed internal strife between how Monarch was formed, how it became what it is, where we got to the end of the season. Okay. It's not like what Monarch is and what we saw in the first two seasons, combination of them, is them building it brick by brick, kind of slowly adding to it as we go on. It wasn't going to be a throw it in here, hey, they have this technology, they have this money, and they have this and this and this and this. It wasn't supposed to be that. It was supposed to be a gradual build up, which I think we got, because we went from the founders and how they started and what they were doing and what they meant, to slowly get up to, okay, now they're working with the government, they're hands-on with them, they're partners, whatever, they believe in what they're doing, they're here to save lives, blah blah blah. What this show did is just explain and show kind of the internal things that happened with this group as they went on this journey. That's what it did. Okay, it wasn't. I don't know if it was supposed to expand the lore in a way where it's just like, oh, this happened, so this is happening. We don't know that yet. This is the beginning of a story that they're trying to tell. Who knows? Maybe they have something laid out where there's 5, 6, 7 seasons worth of story, and this is just the beginning of it. We don't know that yet. This could just be just a fraction of what their story is building, but we just don't know. Okay. And I'm just here to basically sit back, watch what they're doing, watch what they're giving us, and I'm gonna try to enjoy it. And honestly, I did. It was different because yes, we're always here for the kaiju action. I get that. I'll never dispute that. Okay, we always got into this for this. Okay, but as you grow up, as you get older, your thinking changes, your likes change, and everything. And it's just like it's different things can captivate you into liking something. And in this show, in this season, it was something different that captivated me with the telling of each and everybody's stories and what they were going through and kind of what was going on that kind of captivated me. That's why I liked it. Yeah, would I liked more monster action? Of course. That's why we got into this. I would love that. But if we didn't, the story was good enough to keep me engaged and keep me focused and actually still enjoying the story and the show altogether. That's all that it is to me. And that's my opinion. And that's what I liked about it. You know, the kaiju action was great. The Godzilla, okay. Would I have liked more fighting with Godzilla? Absolutely. Did they not show enough of him? Absolutely. Okay. That's fine. Did they not explain Titan X enough? Absolutely. Did I think she should have been evil? Absolutely. She should have been more terrifying. She should have done more damage. We didn't get that. Okay. And that's fine. That's fine. But overall, the story going forward, it kept me intrigued and I just kept going with it. And like I said, this could just be the starting of building blocks to something that maybe they have lined up that maybe it'll pay off later, but we won't know until that time comes. If this was the end all be all season and they're not going to make any more, was it a flop? Yes, it was. But I still enjoyed it though. I still enjoyed watching the show. But was it a flop overall? Probably for Godzilla fans, probably, because most Godzilla fans are diehard fans. They've been watching for a long time. Okay. Today's viewers, audience, to be honest, here in the West, they're not looking always for monsters. They want something to go along with the monsters. You know, they want to try and connect with some of these human and their stories that they go through. Some people did connect to some of these people and the stories that they went through that they could, you're like, hey, like I kind of felt that before in this situation that I went through personally. Like that's kind of what it's about, honestly. So that's what I'm saying. That's how I feel about it. And that's it. That's all there is. I liked it. Yes. If you guys didn't like it, that's fine. You didn't like it. That's cool. I respect your opinion and why you didn't like it. That's cool. But I did. I still enjoyed it as much as, you know, a lot of people didn't. A majority didn't do it. I still thought it was an okay, pretty good season and show that, you know, I would probably watch again.
Really quick, Samson, you look like you had a few words you wanted to state specifically to Adrian. Was there anything that you wanted to state and speak out from your chest, buddy?
No, because after that 15-minute rant, I don't know where my head was at anymore. I completely forgot. But before I continue,
I'm sorry, you can't think past 1 minute. Sorry.
No, I can't. I have ADHD.
Okay.
But before I answer
we've heard
anything
that
else,
1,000 times, but okay, let's keep going.
who's clicking their goddamn pen? That's what I'm going to say before we go any further. If I can hear it, the whole stream can hear it.
Upset you? Oh my god!
I can hear it. The whole fucking stream can hear it. Yes, it's driving me nuts.
Oh my god! Thank you for pointing it out for everybody to hear. Thank you.
Jesus Christ!
Wow, Joe, we had an amazing team. Jesus. Oh man, really quick. Did you guys feel like the show stick the landing or fall short of expectation? Actually, reiterating that once again, I feel like that's kind of a stupid question because I think it's safe to say that at least majority of us here do believe that it felt extremely short. Specifically talking about last night's episode, definitely for me personally, it felt rushed. But again, there was so much that they had to cram in to kind of make it a satisfying season finale. But again, that all of that could have been paved throughout the entirety of the show to make it worth something watching for the hardcore fans that chime into this. As stated earlier on when we were doing these episode analysis videos, that maybe this was a new segue, a whole different direction that Monarch Legacy of Monsters was trying to aim for, trying to branch off into different audiences to chime into that of a Monarch property. But it's safe to say that with your source material being the die-hard kaiju fans that have been there since day one, have been hoping for a live-action Godzilla television show, I feel like that should have been the overall moral focus. I've also stated this earlier. There have been a good chunk of people at my job that would talk to me about it because obviously it has some ties in with Godzilla. And it drew their attention watching all those trailers. And then coming into it, they're like, dude, are you even still watching Monarch Legacy of Monsters? Because after episode 4, I just clocked out. It was because of the lack of monsters. But I mean, I guess the questions will remain back to Eric and Adrian, since again, you guys are the ones that have a different opinion amongst me, Joe, and Samson. So I'm gonna give the mic to you once again to start that off, Adrian.
No, it didn't fall short of expectations for me because, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't go into the season expecting a whole lot. I didn't come into the season expecting like an entire brand new world to come from this season because of how season 1 was. So due to me keeping my expectations as low as I did, no, it didn't fall short to me. It felt just about where I expected to be at, and honestly, I was satisfied with it.
Now, I want to piggyback off of what you just stated right there because when season 1 came out, I don't even recall if I was even a member of MWA at that point in time, but like I had such heated debates and arguments regarding season 1 because I wasn't even a fan of the start of Monarch season 1. Now I have a whole different appreciation to it because I had to sit through every freaking week and do these videos. Is just like, oh my God. So I feel like what they lacked in season 1 should have improved in season 2 with the overall world being, and again, with the title of it being dubbed Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Monarch was introduced to us in 2014 and to draw a bunch of our attentions as to what we personally felt like, we want more out of this secret organization that's, has a keen eye on not just Godzilla, but all these other titans. Why aren't we touching base on that? Joe, you look like you need to say something, buddy.
Let Eric go. You said it was a question for Eric and Adrian.
It's okay, buddy. I'll make sure to fly out to Chicago tomorrow and give you a nice big bear. All right? I'll give you a kiss on the forehead too, buddy. Don't worry. Eric.
I didn't have any expectations. That's the beauty of it. I wasn't expecting anything. I didn't know what to expect. Basically, it was a continuation of the first season. That was it. I didn't know what they were going to do. I didn't know what they were going to dive into or what the characters were going to do. So honestly, there was no up or down for expectations because I didn't have any. I was open-minded. I just went into it and I was going to watch it, and that was it. Like it's easy.
Nobody has a rebuttal on that?
Now, to piggyback off of you.
Go ahead, Adrian.
Keep speaking, Adrian.
No, I was gonna say with going off of what me and Eric said. This is for Jordan, just for you, Joe, and Samson. Were your expectations entirely too high going to this season, And did that alter how overall you feel about the season?
100%. Yes. But I will also say this, through absolute zero fault of my own and 100% fault of the way they marketed this show. The way they marketed this show, and like I'm sorry, but I don't agree with the whole like, oh, just go in with no expectations. Well, what do you like? This isn't a show that we're just walking in blind off the street. Like, we reacted to trailers, we saw TV spots and everything. Like, it was marketed as Titan X is this destroyer. It's going to be bad. We need Godzilla and Kong, and this is like the next Ghidorah or Mechagodzilla or whatever. And it was nothing close to that. So yeah, I mean, like they and I actually said this early on when we had some talks behind the scenes. I know, and I don't remember if I said it in the first few episode reviews that I was here. You want to know what really, like, I know you guys are hyper focusing on like the monster fights for some reason, even though I never actually said that. I said the mythology. But do you know that every single scene that we saw of Godzilla, except for him swimming and then roaring at Kokai when she was wrapped around that rock, we saw in the trailer? That's why I'm disappointed. Because, and I even said this after the first 2 episodes of Monarch, I was like, oh, wow. All the monster scenes nothing was new. This is really exciting because it means that everything else we're going to see is new. It's not really true. Everything it's the 2014 problem. Like, everybody talks smack about the human character, like Aaron Taylor Johnson, and I didn't mind him. And my problem with 2014 wasn't the humans. It was, we saw for the most part, all the interesting parts in the trailers. And though when it would cut off in the trailer, you're like, oh man, I wonder what's going to happen next. There was nothing that happened next. There was nothing. That's my problem. Is like, everything good you showed it in the trailer, and B, the trailers were completely marketed in a way that had nothing to do with the way this season was, and so it was just I mean, 100%. My expectations were way out of left field in the wrong way, and that's on me. I should have also probably tempered my expectations, which I will absolutely do for the remainder of these seasons. But they also marketed it in a way and interviewed in a way that, oh, Titan X, man, she's going to be something special. She's going to be important. She swam for 8 episodes. And then she went to Australia and did a little sunbathing. And then she got into a fight with Kong. Sorry, not impressed.
Sam, you have any comments about that?
That's the exact same problem that I had. That the expectations that we had were because of the trailer. The direction and the flow of how the show was going to be did not get represented correctly from how it was shown to us. So yeah, same thing Joe said. We were shown one thing and given something else.
Mm-hmm. And before you even said anything, Joe, it's, oh man, I'm gonna sound like Adrian, where he agreed with everyone that stated anything positive about the show. That was literally what I wanted to freaking speak on, was these trailers marketed as if they know exactly what's going to draw all the eyes onto this specific show. Let's throw in every single monster scene that is going to be involved in this show and cram it into one trailer. Bam. That's what's going to make us a huge hit in terms of viewerships. When episode 1 came out, I don't know if any of you guys were paying attention, but when episode 1 came out of season 2, Monarch, I believe, was either the first or second top show in Apple TV. And then as the show progressed, it was no longer part of the top 10 up until last night's episode, where it's currently now on the top 4. It's kind of disappointing, and it's extremely upsetting because here we are. We even did a live reaction to the trailers, and we even did a deep dive regarding our overall thoughts about what we were expecting based off of what we seen in the trailer. You're marketing that as, for anyone to want to chime into your projects. Well, if that was going to be the case and all this was going to be nothing but a freaking tease of just unnecessary stuff that you didn't need to cram into one trailer, then you could have just sprinkled on a bunch of other, human dialogues that would have, again, drawn some type of attention, or at least give us, those like me, Samson, and Joe, less expectations diving into this because, oh boy, I said it early before we went live. Literally, this was a huge brain bleed for me chiming into this. And I've stated in older episodes, I was hoping that we were going to get a season 3 because I did not want to freaking revisit these shows, especially if season 3 was going to be just as much of a disappointing flop as season 2. So I'm hoping that they learn from this, especially with all the feedback that this season has got, and to try to make it at least somewhat more marketable and more, of a personal fan favorites between me, Joe, and Samson, and amongst a majority of others. But honestly, with all that being said, because I'm not trying to sit up here for 2 hours, that would wrap up our episode 10, Where We Belong, episode analysis of season 2 of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. This is a finale that I could not wait for, just to get it done and over with, because, oh my God. Now, before we go promoting other stuff, I would like to ask, Joe, how would you rate this out of scale 1 through 10?
This episode or this season?
The season.
Like a 5 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
4 or 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. What I liked, I really liked, but there just wasn't enough of it. And honestly, what saved it from being like a 2 or 3 out of 10 was Rodan. It reinvigorated my optimism for the overall series. I think I've said it several times, narratively, I think they chose the wrong direction of this season, but yeah, I'd still say what I liked was enough for it to be mediocre at best.
Okay. Eric.
Well, what was the question again? Sorry, I'll daydream.
Why did you scale it 1 through 10?
Oh, 1 through 10?
1 through 10, yeah.
I'll give it a 6.
Okay. Adrian.
Give it a 7.
Okay. Samson.
4.
Okay. I give this a 3. I'm sorry. Originally, it was a 1 until Kokai beat the living crap out of Kong and Rodan coming up at the end. That's what made me boost the number a little bit. But this was definitely a 3 out of 10, unfortunately. But nonetheless, all opinions are good opinions, whether if others think that they're either right or wrong. Nonetheless, that is what we're all here for at MWA, and that's to just simply bring up a quote that we're going to bring up towards the end of the show. But before we wrap things up, I would just like to promote something that was discussed during our Beast Wars anniversary show, and that is that both me and Joe, we're going to be sitting down with none other than Gary Rock, the voice behind the second generation Optimus Prime. He has also played a plethora of other iconic characters related to certain IPs that we've even talked about here at MWA, specifically talking about his role as Man-at-Arms in the early 2000s He-Man and the Masters of the Universe animated show. So if you guys want to chime into that, that would be around 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time at May 26th. So make sure you guys mark down your calendar. More so importantly, why don't you guys just do us all a solid and just, well, more importantly, go and click the description down below to click our link tree and follow us on each and every single one of our socials. You guys can even chime into previous episode analysis of what we were talking about pertaining to season 2 of Monarch. And let me tell you, there have been some fun ones and some heated ones, but nonetheless, these were all shows that we actually had a crap ton of fun doing. And quoted by the man, the myth, the legend himself, a captain that I would always hop on board of just whatever boat, whatever ship, whatever car he's riding. None other than Captain Gordon. Don't be a hoe. Share the freaking show. I just want to thank Eric. I want to thank Joe. I want to thank Samson, and I want to thank Adrian for having you guys chime in as we deep dived into an interesting show, to say the least. And although we're going to be getting season 3, I think it's safe to say that that will be another series we're going to be deep diving into momentarily when that time comes. But until then, to all that is new, make sure to spread the love that is Monsters with Attitude. And before we wrap things up, just to give you guys a clear conscience, here at MWA, we live off of one phrase, 3 words: embrace the attitude.
The attitude.
Good night, everyone.